let's start here, TJ. The big news, of course, in the NFL, with 2 games to go and the Broncos still having a chance to possibly make the playoffs. There's only 8% chance, but they have a chance. They decided that they were going to bench Russell Wilson. So Russell will not play the final 2 games of the year. Stidham is going to be the starting quarterback. They haven't been eliminated from the playoffs. And you know what? There's something rotten in Denmark. And this is, TJ, the bad part about pro sports. And you know this because you played in the National Football League. And there's a money element that's involved. And people can poo-poo it all they want. And, you just want to win, and that's all that matters, and you don't care about money. But when money's involved, decisions are made. And this, to me, is strictly a money decision. If this guy gets hurt doesn't get hurt and plays the last 2 games, you're going to be on the hook for that $37 million for the 2025 season if he's on the roster in March and he passes his physical. So the last thing they want is for him to play and get hurt, and then that money kicks in regardless. Am I saying he had an all-pro year at quarterback? No. Did he have a better year, TJ, than he had his first year in Denver? Without question. They were dead in the water. They bounced back. They got back into it. They won some games. I get it. That loss to the Patriots was just brutal. I mean, they were down big, came back in that game, but they still lost. They lost to the Patriots. What was that? Christmas Eve? Bad loss. And basically not all the way knocked them out, but really damaged their chances of making it to the postseason. Do you have a problem with where they are in Denver and what they're doing?
Man, Rob, there's so many layers to this, honestly. Yeah, I have a problem with it, but I don't have a problem with it. When you – and this is the thing. You are doing at least how we see it now. And I'll say this. I think Jarek Stidham can play. I really do. He can play.
Then he should have been playing before.
He just hasn't had a lot of reps. He's never going to play when Russell Wilson is making that type of money. I don't care if they thought he was better. He's never going to play when Russell Wilson has that contract. That's the business side of football. But what you're doing with the Denver Broncos is, even if you think Russell Wilson gives you the best opportunity to win games, you're putting the economics of, if he gets hurt, we have to pay him $39 million more guaranteed in 2025. What about the rest of the players on a team that's been busting their butt all season, and albeit small percent that you're going to make the playoffs, but you still have a chance? What are you telling those guys? You guys don't matter. The effort that you guys have given me all season doesn't matter. I've asked you to give me your all season. It doesn't matter. And so that's where this coaching staff can run the risk of losing guys.
Okay, I'm glad you said
year,
right.
Not just this year. The guys that will be there next year, give it your all, because I'm going to give it my all. We're always going to give you the best chance to win. Hey, guys, but we going to bench Russ because we don't know what's going to happen in 2025. Like, this is what you're telling the guys that are on the roster now? 2 years down the road, this is what you're worried about?
Yeah,
But you want me to give it my all? And y'all worried about 2025? Now, the business side of football, I get it. Russell Wilson is playing good football this year. He's playing football, the brand of football that he played in Seattle. He's not playing any worse than what he played in Seattle. Let's take out last year. What he's doing this year is what he did in Seattle. But Seattle had a great defense, a great running game in Marshawn Lynch. He doesn't have that in Denver. I mean, you're talking 3 to 4 Hall of Famers on that defense, and Richard Sherman, and Earl Thomas, and Bobby Wagner, and Cam Chancellor, and Michael Bennett, and those dudes. Like, they had a great defense. And so that's why he was what he was in Seattle, because he's playing good football. But the beginning of the end, Rob, was when Sean Payton treated him like he was nothing on the sideline. I went on college. I had never seen that in my life.
And that's where I want to get to. Because this is
never seen that. That was the beginning of the end right there. That was the begin. The way.
But this is Sean Payton. This is Sean Payton, and he's going to use Russell Wilson as the scapegoat for what's going on in Denver. He's going to do this is what's happening. And here's the part that bothers me, okay? And here's the difference between baseball and football. And you talked about it, okay? They're worried about 2025 and the chances of him getting hurt, people putting their necks and their lives and their bodies in harm's way every game. And they signed the contract, and now they want to make sure that they can wiggle out when they want to. What just happened in baseball? It's not that just Shohei Ohtani just signed a $700 million contract. Guess what, TJ? He signed a $700 million contract with a major injury that will not allow him to be a unicorn next year, right? And that the Dodgers don't know what kind of pitcher he's going to be again when he takes the mound. Do they know? Do they know?
No idea.
They have no idea. Did that stop them from signing him or giving him money? No, it did not. And they use that in football all the time to not pay running backs, to not play players. Why do NFL players accept this? I don't even understand it.
I mean, Rob, when you look at it, there's a handful of players that have that type of power, meaning you're young and you're great. This is what I want in my contract. If I don't get it, I'm not signing. And all those guys, those 5 or 6 players, where it's Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, whoever else is that young guy coming up, looks to be possibly now C.J. Stroud. They can really hold firm on, I want a guaranteed contract. Oh, Lamar tried to. And nobody attempted to sign Lamar. He had the
we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
Non-exclusive franchise tag, and nobody tried to sign him.
Well, and there was a story today, NBC.
Things that make
Sports.
you go,
right. And this is the financial part that drives you crazy. And I don't. If you're a Denver Broncos fan, and you just said it too, or in that locker room, and you're asking me to give my all, but you're going to pull a quarterback, not because he's terrible and we can't win with him, but because we can't have him get hurt the last 2 games and then we're on the hook. Because if he's healthy and passes the physical, on March, you know that guarantee is kicked in, and there's no turning back from that $37 million. They've already basically said we're not going to exercise that. We're going to part ways. We're not paying that $37 million. We don't care if we make the playoffs this year. This is Sean Payton, and Sean Payton came in, and for a guy who's won 1 Super Bowl and basically is Mike McCarthy in better shape, really, other than that, what's the difference between Mike McCarthy and him? But everybody makes Mike McCarthy out like he's kind of a buffoon, and Sean Payton invented football. Like, it's unbelievable. They both had Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? They both won 1 championship, but Mike McCarthy never went 7-9 3 years in a row with a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's the difference. And Sean Payton talked out of the side of his mouth about Nathaniel Hackett. We all know that he did a terrible job. That's why Sean got the job, right? So he started off with that. The team was awful. They gave up a 70-piece to Miami. They bounced back, and now here he is. He wanted to get rid of Russell Wilson anyway. Couldn't do anything because he was winning, right? And they were winning. And as soon as he realized, okay, here's my last chance, they forsake the team's fortune and tell the fans, screw you. That's what the Denver Broncos and Sean Payton have done.
The thing is, what kind of support does Russell Wilson have in that locker room? That's key. What kind of support from the better players in that locker room that are young, that means something to that team? Specifically, Patrick Surtain. Like, how does he feel about this? If your young players are up in arms about this, you got a problem. You have a problem if you're the Denver Broncos, because you can't come in the offseason and training camp and preach this, we're going to give it our all because you give it your all because we're going to give it our all. We're going to give you the best opportunity to win. You can't even preach that message any longer because you've already showed me what you would do. You showed me what you would do. So don't tell me, because I see better than I hear. And so it really depends on the type of support that Russell Wilson has in that locker room. Now, again, if Jarrett Stidham goes out there these next 2 weeks and balls out, none of this matters.
No. And if he bombs out, but it's still the idea that you've given up the season. And we want to hear from you. Let's get some people involved. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Where are you on this? Is Russell Wilson the scapegoat? Do you like this, what they're doing in Denver? Are they sticking the middle finger up to fans and to the rest of those players in the locker room? Where are you on this? I call it a debacle. It is as bad as it gets. You should always strive to try to make the postseason and put your team in the best position to win. And Russell Wilson being on the sidelines, I do not believe is the best position. I know TJ guys want to jump in.
Yeah, we got Ricky from Montclair. You're on the Odd Couple. What you got for us?
Okay, so you guys made a statement that Stidham was better than Russell Wilson.
No,
earlier
he said that. No,
somebody said I heard it.
No, you heard wrong. What I said was I believe Stidham is a good player.
That's what he said.
Okay. Well, you said he was never going to start because the amount of money Russell Wilson was making. Correct?
Yes. Even I said if he was better,
Denver,
he would never start.
He would never start in Denver.
Okay. Well, I remember distinctly because I'm a Raider fan, and I really wanted the Raiders to get Matt Flynn, and he got a bunch of money from Seattle and never played never started, right?
I remember that was when Russell Wilson took the job, right? They got him from Green Bay. Yeah.
Yep. They paid him a bunch of money. I was sad. I'm a Raider fan and looking for a quarterback for a long time, and I was like, man, Seattle saved us.
All right, where are you on this? Are you cool with this? What Denver's doing?
Yeah, they're done. They're moving on. He's gone.
Okay. All right, you're cool with it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 877-99 on Fox.
We have Clint in Columbus. You're on the Odd Couple. What do you have for us?
TJ, what's up, big dog?
What's going on, my guy?
Hey, I'm a big fan of all you guys, but TJ, I freaking love listening to you on the herd. You're great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, I mean, kind of like the last caller. I'm not okay with the decision because I'm a huge fan of the NFL, but I like players more than I like teams. And Sean Payton and Russ, those are two, really big names in the NFL, and it just seems like it was a good match, and I think it could be. But I think Sean Payton is putting his thumbprint on this organization, and he's like, hey, all that stuff Russ wanted, him being at the top, that's not going to fly. I'm at the top. I think they're off Russ, and I think that they're going to have to kind of go into a little bit of a rebuild mode because you just don't get Super Bowl quarterbacks, every day off the market or in the draft.
Dude, you look, you're spot on from this standpoint, and TJ, you know this. There's 16 teams looking for a quarterback. I mean, it ain't like quarterbacks. Look at the guys who have played this year, TJ. It's shocking, isn't it? There are no quarterbacks around.
Amen.
Quarterbacks they're a hot commodity, man. Everybody is trying to find one, and if you don't have one, you're looking for one. Right.
And here we are. I mean, there's a country of 330 million people, and you can't find 32 starting quarterbacks. Think about that. It's unbelievable. 877-99 on Fox.
Steve in Tucson, you're on the Odd Couple. What you have for us?
I heard you guys right, so I will not try to say that you guys said that Russell was not as good as Stidham, I promise you. So I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I move out here to Tucson, Arizona, and I have to deal with these University of Arizona people. And this is the way I look at Sean Payton. University of Arizona have won one basketball championship in over 100 years, and Lute Olson won that one championship. They think he's the greatest thing that ever came to basketball. Just like Sean Payton, he is not the greatest thing. He won one championship. I would take Russell over him any day and get rid of Payton. But in this situation, we know it's always about the Benjamins and the dollar bills. So if you told me they had a 25% chance of making the playoffs, yeah, I would be a little angry. But I think you guys gave a number under 10%.
8%. It's 8%.
8%,
yes.
right. Not if it was 25%, I'd be mad as a fan. At 8%, you know, I understand going to Stidham, and maybe that $37 million, they can use it to build their team better next year instead of giving Russ that money.
It's not next year, right?
It is next year. He's guaranteed 37 regardless. He's guaranteed 39 regardless. If he's on the roster,
it's another 37,
he's guaranteed another 39 the following year, 20. He's getting that money regardless.
Right. It's the next year. It's 2025 that
exactly. 2025.
It's not next year. He's going to get his money. But if he's on the roster in March, it automatically kicks in for 2025. That's
Correct.
what they're trying to avoid.
A chance to win. See, I didn't know that. I thought it was next year. My misunderstanding. No, that's wrong then. Now I totally agree. Play the man. You're paying him that much money. He gives you the best chance to win.
Right. You cannot do that. If you sign that deal, you're the one who put those stipulations. You think did Russell Wilson put that in there? You put that in there. You made a commitment to the guy. My God. And he had a better year this year than the first year there. And you already know last year was a disaster all across the board. Coaching, players, it was awful last year. 877-99 on Fox.
Carl, Fort Lauderdale, you're on the Odd Couple. What you have for us?
Yeah, man, I don't like it. I don't like it. I saw it from the beginning. I knew this was Sean was going to try to do. They hyped this guy up like he's some major Super Bowl coach.
He
know. Has one win.
It's unbelievable, seriously. And am I right? What's the difference between him and Mike McCarthy?
It's
Nothing.
The same thing, Rob. It's the same thing. One win coach, and they put them on this pedestal. You know what I'm saying? It's always the perception of certain coaches, and they got that name, and these owners go pay all that money over perception. The NFL is such a dumb copycat league. They pay off perception, and these guys don't do shit once they get the job.
Ooh, let them know how you feel,
Carl. Yep. All right. That didn't make it. Trust me. We're good. Thanks for the call anyway. TJ, do we have one more to squeeze in?
We got a couple more.
We
got Shaq in Richmond.
Shaq, Merry Christmas.
Appreciate it, Rob. What's good, Rob? What's good, my man, Rob? What's good, TJ?
All good. All good.
Well, I hope y'all had a good holidays. But, yeah, man, I think the writing was on the wall, and I kind of saw it, man, because I've been kind of watching sports for a while since I was like a kid. So when they let Randy Gregory in the other end go, I was like, yeah, they about to hang up. Like, I could see it coming. And what it is, like people, are kind of shocked, like, oh, well, they trying to save money for 2025. What it is, when they get rid of him this year, they're going to take the big cap hit this offseason. Right. That way they can get all the bad contracts out there, probably move Judy, pay Surtain, and then they'll have one little offseason where the cap is kind of upped up. And then the next year they have that surplus without his contract, and then Peyton to go get his guy. And I heard the GM's on the chopping block, too, so this is just like a clean house move. I don't think he's been that bad. I don't think he's been great, but
I agree.
He just wants his own guy.
Right. He doesn't want him there. That's what it's really about. He just doesn't want him there. Hey, all right, TJ Houshmandzadeh. I watched with bated breath and with bad breath on Christmas Day, watching the game of the year to me. I wanted to see the 49ers and I wanted to see the Ravens. And what did you make of Brock Purdy's performance and Lamar Jackson's performance, and who do you have as the MVP?
Well, obviously, 49ers didn't play a good football game. You got to give that Ravens defensive coordinator McDonald a ton of credit. It's two of the better defenses in the league, but on paper, the Ravens, that defense is top 3 in every statistical category.
They're giving up like 15 points a game.
Number one in the league. Yards per game, number one in the league. So the Ravens are good. Now, when you look at Brock Purdy's performance, that interception he threw in the red zone, for me, that was the one that was the one bad play on his behalf. If I'm looking at it, you kind of recall the play.
It changed the game.
They had two receivers to the left side. It was a double post concept. And so Kittle, he ran like an out. I don't know what kind of route it was. It was a quick out, like a 5-yard out. If you're going to run that concept, either Kittle his route should have been deeper so that he can occupy that backside safety. So when he runs his route at 5 yards, that backside safety can fall off. And now the front side safety can also fall off and take away the outside post, which I believe was Ayuk. Debo ran the slot post. And so I don't know if Kittle's route was short or that was just the concept. Outside of that, that was the one bad read. The tip balls and, those things. Brandon Stevens made a great play. He's blitzing. Purdy tries to get the ball up. He tips it. He tries to throw across to the middle with Kittle. Kyle Hamilton makes a great hustle play. The ball gets batted in the air. It's another interception. So Purdy, yes, he threw 4 interceptions. But to me, one of them was really just a bad read. The others, it was just kind of bad luck.
Okay,
Lamar played well.
But you got to admit this, and I hear you. But we could do that with everybody. Oh, if so-and-so did this. Oh, if it wasn't batted down. Oh, he had 4 interceptions, and that's what counts on his record. And let me say this. He might have had that might be the biggest game of his life. And what I mean by that is it could have changed everything. Mr. Irrelevant, the whole country watching on Christmas night against that Ravens defense. And you remember when he started the game, they were moving the ball easily. Okay? And had he won that game, you would have had to put the rest about Brock Purdy and him not deserving an MVP and he's this and he's that. That would have had to be put to rest, and that guy would have won the MVP, and now that's out the window. And whether it was tip balls or not, he didn't perform close to what people thought. They were 6.5-point favorites coming into that game. Nobody thought the Ravens were going to fly cross country and beat the 49ers at home.
I thought the Ravens were going to win that game.
Well, you're the only one. I'm talking about Vegas put up money. You heard some of the other people who are Mike Florio from Pro Football. Oh, they're going to kick the S out of them. I mean, it was amazing what people thought. I'm with you because I love Baltimore's defense.
I felt like with the Ravens being the underdog that they wouldn't take too kindly to that. Now, I didn't think they would win in the fashion that they won, but the Ravens are a good team.
Tell me about Lamar because we're running out of time. I want to hear your take on Lamar.
Right now, there's 3 guys for the MVP. It's Lamar Jackson, it's Brock Purdy, it's Josh Allen. One of those 3 will win the MVP. But Lamar Jackson is playing.
Brock Purdy's out of it. Brock Purdy's out of it.
I don't believe so. I really don't. But when you look at the way
he had a 3-game losing streak in the middle of the season, and then that performance, he's not winning an MVP.
When you look at a new offense, and it's a pass-first offense, by the way, Lamar is to think that nobody tried to sign Lamar Jackson when he was technically he wasn't a free agent, but he could have been signed. It's crazy. Lamar Jackson is playing phenomenal football, and the Ravens are doing what the Ravens do. They just win.
Yeah, he's the best player on the best team, and that performance, it reminds me, TJ, of the baseball season. When Acuna came to L.A., I don't know if you remember this, Acuna came to L.A., him and Mookie Betts were basically like a lockstep, right, for MVP in the National League. Acuna went off in that series against the Dodgers, had all these home runs, whatever. Mookie didn't do much, and walked away. When he left, he was like, he was going to be the MVP. I just felt the same way. Lamar had such a stamp on that game. I know the defense played well, but if you watch that game and what he does, and the other thing that I think people don't understand, Lamar could have a lot more touchdowns if he just all that stuff in the red zone that they hand off to Edwards, he could be running those in. They don't have to do that. Am I wrong? What, couldn't he run those in? If he wanted to?
Lamar Jackson seems to be a player that when you play with him, guys just like playing with Lamar. They like being in the locker room with Lamar. They enjoy him that much. He seems like he's just one of the guys. Like, let's go back to Russell Wilson. Like, it's been reported that, like, guys on the team didn't have Russell Wilson's cell phone number.
Right.
So I don't know
Which
what
is unbelievable. That's shocking.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like
that he's that big of a star. You know, it was like, I don't know if you remember, at the end of Brett Favre's career, he dressed in a separate locker room with the Jets. Did you know that?
No. Like,
he dressed in a separate locker room.
Team and do these type of things, and so Lamar seems as if he's just one of the guys. And when you become that, dudes really want to play with you, play for you, and it's what you said. If they realize that he could be taking some of these touchdowns and he's giving them to Gus Edwards, they really appreciate that because that's going to help Gus Edwards out more than it helps Lamar out. And
he could be selfish and just be like, we're down there, I'm going to run them all in.
He isn't doing those things, but the Ravens, man, they just win. That's what this is the year for the Ravens to kind of always been a really good regular season team. Lamar has one playoff. This is the year.
I agree.
For them to go further than they've been with Lamar Jackson. Now, I will say this. They're probably going to meet up with the Niners again in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they'll get the same result.